The dinner invitation came on a Tuesday, written on a sticky note left on his keyboard like it was nothing, like it was just another item on a to-do list, which was exactly how Caroline Merritt operated, moving through the world with the breezy confidence of someone who had never once considered that other people might need a moment to prepare. Dinner Friday. My parents are in town. I need a favor. See. Daniel Reeves read it 3 times. Then he looked across the open office floor to where his boss was already on the phone, already moving, already 3 steps ahead of whatever room she was standing in. He was her senior project coordinator. She was the regional director of an urban planning firm in Nashville, Tennessee. Their relationship was professional and warm and occasionally funny, the way good working relationships can be when 2 people genuinely respect each other without ever crossing the lines that keep things simple. He thought the favor might involve picking up her parents from the airport. Or perhaps recommending a restaurant. He had no framework for what it actually turned out to be. Daniel was 36 years old and had been a single father for 4 of them, since the night his wife, Renee, had gone to sleep beside him and simply hadn't woken up. A heart condition nobody knew about, the doctors said, as if that explanation was supposed to fit inside a human life. He had a daughter named Maya who was 6 and believed wholeheartedly in dinosaurs, justice, and the healing properties of strawberry ice cream. He had a small house in East Nashville and a babysitter named Mrs. Aldridge who smelled like lavender and had become, over 4 years, something close to essential. He was a man who had learned to carry a lot while appearing to carry very little. His colleagues knew him as steady, capable, and occasionally capable of a dry joke that arrived so quietly it took the room a full 5 seconds to catch up. Caroline knew him better than most, because good bosses pay attention, and Caroline Merritt, whatever else could be said about her, paid attention. He agreed to the dinner because she was his boss and the note said favor and he was, at his core, a person who showed up when asked. He did not know, when he arrived at Margot, one of Nashville's nicer restaurants on a Friday evening in March, that Caroline had told her parents he was her boyfriend. He did not know this when he shook her father's hand. He did not know it when her mother, a warm Georgian woman named Elaine who wore pearls and had Caroline's same direct eyes, hugged him with the familiarity of someone who had been briefed. He understood something was wrong approximately 90 seconds into the conversation, when her father asked how long they'd been together and Caroline said, with absolutely no hesitation, just over a year, and then looked at Daniel with a smile that was equal parts apology and pure desperation. The world slowed down in the particular way it does when your brain is processing something that doesn't fit any existing category. He excused himself. Caroline followed. In the small corridor near the restrooms, he looked at her and spoke in the measured tone of a man who had learned to process shock quietly. "A year," he said. "I know. You told them a year. They've been trying to set me up," she said, and the composure she wore so effortlessly in every conference room she'd ever walked into had developed a visible crack. "For 3 years. Every visit. My mother has a list, Daniel. An actual physical list of eligible men from her church and her book club and I don't know, apparently her dentist's office." She pressed her fingers to her forehead. "I panicked. Your name came out. I don't know why your name came out. It just came out." He looked at her for a long moment. She was 38 and brilliant and worked harder than anyone he knew, and underneath all of that polished capability he could see, right now, something very human, the particular exhaustion of a daughter who loved her parents but needed, just for one dinner, to not be their project. He understood that exhaustion. He understood it in a different form, the well-meaning people after Renee died who looked at him with that specific tilted sympathy and asked when he was going to start dating again, as though grief had an expiration date printed somewhere he hadn't found yet. "Okay," he said. She blinked. "Okay. One dinner," he said. "But you're buying. And you owe me an explanation for Maya's career day because she told Mrs. Aldridge she was going to be an urban planner because of you, and now I have to figure out what that means for a 6-year-old. Something shifted in Caroline's face, relief first, then something warmer that she recovered from quickly and efficiently, the way she recovered from everything. They went back to the table. Daniel Reeves was not a performer, but he was, at his foundation, a kind man, and kindness extended naturally. He talked with her father, Robert, about the Titans and about the construction project near Germantown that Robert had read about online. He let Elaine ask him questions about Maya with a grace that felt genuine because it was, Maya was the best thing in his life and he could talk about her without pretending. When Elaine's eyes went soft at the story about Maya insisting on wearing a hard hat to church the Sunday after Caroline had taken her to a job site, Daniel saw something in Caroline's expression he hadn't seen before in 3 years of working alongside her. She was looking at him the way people look at something they've underestimated. After dinner, walking to their cars while her parents waited for a rideshare, Caroline stood beside him in the parking lot and didn't say anything for a moment, which was unusual enough that he noticed. She really wore the hard hat to church. She finally said. Refused to take it off. Told the pastor it was a safety requirement. Caroline laughed, and it was different from her work laugh, less managed, more actual. I'm sorry, she said then. For tonight. I put you in a position without asking and that wasn't fair. No, he agreed. It wasn't. You were kind anyway. You needed a favor, he said simply. That's what you asked for. She looked at him with an expression he couldn't fully read, and then she said something he hadn't expected. Can I take Maya for ice cream this weekend? Actually take her, not as a work thing. Just, because I'd like to. He studied her. Why? Because she's going to be an urban planner apparently, and I feel a professional responsibility. She paused. And because I think I've been looking at my life through a very narrow window for a long time, and your daughter looks at everything like it's worth examining, and I find that clarifying. Daniel Reeves drove home that night and sat in the driveway for a few minutes before going inside, the way he sometimes did when he needed a moment between the world and the quiet house where Maya was sleeping. He thought about narrow windows. He thought about Renee, the way she used to say that the point wasn't to get through the hard parts but to stay open during them. He had stayed open. Some days that was the whole achievement. The ice cream happened on Saturday. Maya wore her hard hat. Caroline arrived with a genuine smile and left 4 hours later with strawberry on her sleeve, having been given a full lecture on the dietary preferences of the Triceratops. 3 months later, when Caroline's parents called to check in, she didn't need a favor anymore. She told them the truth, that something had started quietly, without announcement, the way the best things often do. That a good man had shown up on a Friday night simply because she'd asked. That she had been looking through a narrow window for years, and someone had finally helped her see the whole wall. Her mother cried. Her father asked about the Titans. And Maya, when told that Caroline was coming to dinner again, put on her hard hat and declared it a special occasion. Nobody disagreed.